Well, it's week 12 of the 2025 NFL football season. Cowboys, Philly, and if you know this rivalry, well, you know it's about to get real in week 12. Welcome in to Cowboys Rewind. Nicole Hutchison. I'll be joined by Vosh Lombardi and Patrick Nosey Walker in just a few minutes. But before we get to week 12, we got to rewind to week 11. The Cowboys dominating against the Raiders, defensively imposing their will. Offensively, they're finding their fire back because that win in Vegas carried a whole lot more weight.
Hey, for Marshawn, bro. Let's do this. Leave everything out on that field, bro. Love y'all boys. Hell yeah.
Let's do this for 9-4. We love you, baby. We got you.
Hey, the mission is real simple, man. Let's see who wants this.
Tonight's about honoring a brother. We got the testimony. We got to respond. We got the privilege. We get the privilege and the honor to respond and to carry the light of our brother. Our focus, our effort, our mentality is staying together. No matter what happens this game, we're going to win this thing. Remember that. Stay together. Let's honor our brother, man. Love you, boys. Let's go team on three. 1, 2, 3, team.
And he gives the ball to the rookie, Genty, and he's hit behind the line of scrimmage. Back 5 steps, hit!
Great start, guys. Hey, great start. Let's celebrate that victory, man. That's way better than it has been. Way better. Good. Let's just rip some hands down, right? They want some jump. Rip them hands down. Oh, there goes go, baby.
Play fake to him. Prescott back to throw. Finds a wide open Pickens at the 48 for a first down. 18 to Pickens, and it's 1st and 10. Prescott rolling right, throws underneath. Pickens got open at the 35.
There we go.
2nd and 10. Prescott fakes a toss right. He's got Lamb wide open.
Yes, sir. That's standard. Clean, efficient, fast, tempo, in and out of the huddle. That's us. Yes, sir. That's us. Build on it now.
The gun back to throw. Pressured now. Say goodnight, Gino.
There he goes again. There he goes.
Quentin Williams. Enjoy your first Dallas sack.
Hey! Joe! What'd he do? Yeah! Lord, hey! Yeah!
Hey, is that hard knocks? Oh, Cowboys? Okay. So if I say something crazy, y'all can edit it for me? Okay, bad. I be talking crazy, so I got a brand to uphold, so I don't want my grandma hearing that. Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
3rd down, close to 4 on the right hash at the 37. Prescott with time. Slant Pickens. 1st down.
Oh, my God!
Got a block.
Oh, my God! Oh, my God! Oh, my God!
At the 20-yard line, 2nd and 10. Prescott whips the ball left to Pickens across the 10. Another 1st down. Williams back at running back. Prescott is under center.
Come on, baby. Hey, they don't have to score nothing else, bro. They ain't got to score else. They got enough.
Receiver in motion to the left. Prescott play action. Left.
Okay, Flo. Okay, Flo. Okay, Flo. Okay, Flo. Hey, add up the score. 49. Marshawn's double backwards. Right there. That's it was 4 right there, baby. 9-4 right there, boy. 9-4 right there, man. 9-4. Don't fall over. I love you.
So proud of you.
You thought that was electric? Wait till you get to Arlington on a Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles. But hey, there's a lot more to look forward to. We got Cowboys, Eagles. What matchups? Who will have the biggest test against the Philadelphia Eagles? That's up next.
Cowboys Rewind is brought to you by AT&T. Connecting changes everything. And by SWBC Mortgage. Customized solutions to help you meet your personal and business goals. Visit SWBC.com. This segment is brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, welcome back into Cowboys Rewind. Nicole, Vach, and Pat, of course, one and only crew. We got Eagles week, Cowboys against the Philadelphia Eagles in week 12. You know, the stakes always go up when these teams play and match up head-to-head against each other. But we got matchup mayhem, a lot of matchups to keep our eyes on. You got 40 seconds, one take.
Okay.
You got to bring the receipts. Are y'all ready?
Let's go.
Let's do it. All right. Cowboys O-line versus this Philly defensive front. Who's winning in the trenches? I'm going to go Vach.
All right, let's go first then. Hey, man, look, Jalen Carter is a dude that went to go make a trade. Jalen Phillips is a guy. He's been pretty good versus the run as well. But, hey, man, let me tell y'all something. If the Cowboys do anything well, it's run blocking. It's coming off the ball and smoking people. Even if you don't think that the Cowboys' offensive line is doing all that, at least they'll come out and smack somebody. Now, Jalen Carter wasn't around in the first game. He liked to put his fluids on folk, but he's going to be here now. But even if he was around in the first game, the Cowboys didn't shy away from the run. They ran right at y'all people. Plus, I think that the Eagles are going to have a lot more respect for Cowboys receivers. You lighten that box, the Cowboys probably going to push y'all off the line of scrimmage and run all day. I got Cowboys.
You know, I'm taking, I like what
I got more time.
You got more time.
Stop my time.
You got the. Hey, you beat the buzzer.
I do what I do, man.
The fact he said stop my time, this is a Smack DVD or URL Battle League. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I'm with you on that, though, because the thing is, it's what you said last that really stuck with me, Vach, is the fact that they're going to have to respect the fact that they can't go heavy box. You can't go heavy box when you got George Pickens cooking like he's doing, and you know CeeDee Lamb can do what he can do. And then Jake Ferguson, at any given point in time, he can impact the game. And then, oh, by the way, Ryan Flanoy. Let's throw my guy out there as well. So you're going to have to play him straight up. And in doing so, I'm confident with Tyler Booker, Cooper Beebe, and Tyler Smith against Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. Now, be not mistaken, Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, absolute dogs. And I mean that literally and figuratively. You get what I'm saying? That being said, I'm taking the Cowboys offensive line because they got to play honest.
All right, it's all right. You still beat the time. You got what you need.
Hey, stick to your time, sir.
At the buzzer.
Moderator, please.
At the
I got
buzzer.
you.
Moderator, please.
Kobe.
All right.
Vach, same question. Well,
I still got more. No, I'm just playing.
Look,
All
I'm
right,
in the wide
time's
shot
up.
now.
Time is up. Here
Trying
we
to say I
go.
was on
Ryan
CPT?
Schottenheimer
I was on
against
CPT?
Vic Fangio. Which who you got? I'm gonna go Vach.
I'm gonna go Fangio, man. Fangio's the vet. Fangio, cool. Look, I'm going Fangio, man. Fangio got the pedigree behind this. Fangio got the guys, and let's just keep it a buck here. You look on paper, the Eagles' defense might be a top 3 defense in the world. I'm only saying that because the Houston Texans out there looking fantastic as hell. You know, some of these other defenses deserve to be mentioned as well. But the Eagles are one of those top tier ones. But the one that makes me think about Fangio in this way is that Fangio has shut down defenses in like big games. You talk about the Packers game, the Lions game last week. Fangio did that, you know what I mean? I need to see our coach Shotty go out there and do it versus one of those opponents. And I think if you go out there and put hands on this Eagles defense, now Shotty can come out with his chest big and say, I whoop feet.
Hey, you beat the timer. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I do.
That's what you do.
He did it.
All right, your time, your clock starting now.
Start me off. Okay, I'm going with Fangio here because, like Vach said, Fangio is the veteran here against Brian Schottenheimer, and we've seen over the past couple weeks, 2 of the last 3 games, I should say, the Cowboys offense kind of lost their groove, had to refine their way against the Las Vegas Raiders. But while Schottenheimer is finding his groove again, Fangio is already in his groove. He's been in his groove, and his defense is the reason that the Eagles have the best record in the conference, because it's damn sure not because of the offense, okay? That being said, advantage personnel-wise goes to Schottenheimer, because what Schottenheimer has as a strength, George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson, throw some flow in there. That's where the Eagles struggle in their secondary. So we're not talking about Cooper DeJean, but, you know.
Dang.
What would you?
It's coffee.
Let me just say that.
It'd be your own people.
I must say, I was on ESPN. I wasn't on ESPN. I lied. I was listening to him.
There we go.
And they was all like, well, why are we disrespecting Jalen Hurts? He does this. I'm like, man, y'all can't get on Fangio's internet and say this like Hurts is the one that's making it shake like that. The Eagles defense are going crazy right now, honestly.
Absolutely. All right, we got to switch over to the other side of the ball because it's Dallas defense, of course, one of their best sound performances of the season against the Raiders, right? Well, now we're going to look around Cowboys Nation podcast to see what the biggest conversations are after that.
This segment was brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back in here to Cowboys Rewind. Nicole Hutchison, Vosh Lombardi, Patrick No-C Walker. And, I mean, y'all remember what type of performance the Cowboys defense put together against the Raiders tonight, right? 27 rushing yards allowed.
Whew. Is that good?
Seems
good.
Seems good.
Seems
Tied for the second most pressures this season for this team, right? I think that's also good as well. They were playing physical, fast, flying to the football, something everybody's been waiting since week 1 to see from this Matt Eberflus defense. But it's brought up some big conversations this week, specifically on the break. How about Voch Lombardi? I mean, oh yeah, I'm bringing up the receipts.
What'd I say?
I love to hear it though. It was a good soundbite. Good soundbite.
Let's see what I said.
We heard the question was, is it finally Eberflus, changing some things, or did he finally just get the personnel that he needed to do what he needs to do? Let's take a listen.
What'd you say?
Man, Quinnen definitely helps. Quinnen definitely helps, but I think it was a lot more going on with this scheme. I think it was putting guys in places where they had no business being. I think that the Cowboys rotated a bunch of guys. I think a lot of guys got in the game, and some attempt to keep everybody fresh. But I think that Voch gave you a good little list. Flus, cousin Voch gave you a list, man. And I just think we just need to come together and be like, the best dudes got to play. No hard feelings. Shouts out to Kyrie Elam, man. And, I want him to take this the best way possible. Wheezy, Bridges, I want you to take this the best way possible, man. But the group of DBs that was out there.
But with all due respect.
The group of DBs that was out there yesterday, it's just a better group.
No doubt.
It is what it is.
Just look at the inactive list. That's all you need to know.
I need you to elaborate. You like the entire group that you saw Monday night against the Raiders. That is your best group of people out there.
Well, one thing that'll make us all smile real big is success. Like if we do something and it doesn't work and we do it again for 10 weeks and it doesn't work, of course, the one time that it does work, I just want to do that one more time, just see if we can replicate it. The point that I was making was, I know that if you listen to all the coaches, White Kite and all that, they'll say that we want to rotate guys and keep guys healthy, but I think moving forward, there needs to be an attempt to just keep the best guys on the field. And there shouldn't be any hard feelings. This is professional football, and all these guys have some point taken a job from somebody else. So as far as the group that we saw, intensive on the interior tackles, Donovan Ezaraku, Jadeveon Clowney, everybody else kind of give them a break. The corners that we saw, the young corners that we saw in particular, I think that those guys should be the guys moving forward. And, there are some people in Cowboy Nation that may gripe about our safeties. It was good to have our starting safeties back this week.
Yeah, Pat, let me ask you this. What stood out to you the most? Was it the physicality up front? Was it the speed at the second level, or the communication as a whole?
Well, the first thing that stood out to me is the fact that Voch can be so great at what he does while rocking a do-rag and a hoodie. I respect that. And then the sunglasses, chef kiss. But Voch, everything he said goes exactly to what I'm about to say. When you talk about competition, the fact of the matter is Mozzie Smith is a New York Jet. This is a former first-round pick of the Cowboys, and typically the Cowboys wouldn't have given up on a guy that young, but I'm telling you that competition has become a thing with this culture under Brian Schottenheimer. That's why you're seeing Kalen Carson out there, despite Savone Revel needing to get the reps as well. Kyer Elam, they traded for him. Where was he? He was not playing on the field. Kalen Carson had 60 reps. And then you talk about Quinnen Williams coming in despite the fact that they had already addressed the position in the offseason. So competition is definitely a cultural standpoint for Brian Schottenheimer. He's keeping that thing going.
We're not going to let that slide.
I heard that trade wasn't going to go through, but the Jets were so impressed with Mozzie's tape that he was the one that kind of pushed it over the edge right there. So, man, I'm incredibly indebted to Mozzie Smith, man, because if it wasn't for you showing up when the lights were on, the Jets loving your tape, man, Quinnen Williams wouldn't be a Cowboy right now, Mozzie. So salute to you, sir. Appreciate you.
And salute to Shotty for coming in and establishing a culture that's shown the front office that if these guys can't compete or if they're not going to compete, we need to move on and find someone who will.
That's fair. And you got to give credit to Matt Eberflus. We've been asking him to play more man. You got to trust your guys, fix up the scheme, play more five down front. We've started to see that. What can you say about Eberflus's growth and the way that he's kind of started his play calling to improve?
Hey, man, it took you a while to get here, Cousin Flus, but the fact that you are here, it is all good, brother. I think, talent matters, and I think what Flus did a really good job of last week is isolating the one-on-one matchups to where we can find the scrub, is what I say. So, recently in the years now, or this year, we'll just kind of blitz, but we didn't have a great plan for blitzing. Now I see Flus blitzing to create one-on-ones, 5 versus 5, so that Quinnen can whoop up on some center or that Kenny can just whoop up on some guard. And I'm also seeing some different things coverage-wise too, not just doing more man stuff, but Savon Rivell for his first day out there looking pretty good in press man. Kalen Carson looking pretty good in press man. I'm impressed by what Flus is doing, but if you want to make me happy, do it again by 10 more times.
And see, that's where I'm at with it, with the do it again, because you did it against the Las Vegas Raiders. We don't apologize for wins around these parts. That being said, it's also true that these next several games look like a TLC video, no scrubs, because you got Patrick Mahomes, and 4 days after you play the defending champion Philadelphia Eagles, and then 7 days from there you got to play the Detroit Lions in Detroit at Ford Field. So I love what they're building. I love the impact of Quentin Williams. I love what it looks like it's resonating outward, especially with DeMarvion Overshown patrolling right behind him. That being said, the very real test starts this Sunday.
Absolutely.
One more thing, too, quickly. There are some people that are making this big hubbub about, oh, it's the Raiders' offense and their offense isn't good. But there's a lesson in every single bar. Yeah, the Raiders' offense, they got 5 offensive linemen that ain't good. Moving forward, you're going to run into offensive lines that don't have 5 good offensive linemen. So what you do, for example, the Eagles, right? Brent Toth is going to be your center this week. Go out there and whoop him. You may not whoop Mailata in that way, but you'll whoop Fred Johnson in that way, okay? Every matchup is going to change this week. And I'm just excited to see how this Cowboys defense move forward.
Hey, talking about a defense that has a guy named Donovan Ezeraku who has certainly started to improve. You made a good point there earlier in the segment. But talk about easy. We're talking cap or no cap up next. Y'all know what's up. It's the favorite part of the show. Cap, no cap. Nicole Hutchinson, Vosh Lombardi, Patrick No C. Walker, and there's a guy on this Dallas defense that's become one of the best sparks of this defense. From his effort to his motor to his pursuit, it all jumps off the tape. But we talk about his pass rush ability. How about his run defense ability?
How about it?
Has he become one of the Cowboys' best run defenders in the past 2 decades? I don't know. Let's listen to the fan and see what they got to say.
I do think that Donovan Ezeraku played probably the, and I know I referenced this yesterday that he was impressive there, but going back and watching it, he is at DeMarcus Lawrence levels, like prime DeMarcus Lawrence levels in terms of playing the run right now. Wow. He is so good at just remaining patient, getting off of blocks, keeping contained, holding the edge, being able to get off of those blocks, make a play in the run game. He is so good right now. That game against the Raiders was one of the 3 or 4 best run games I've seen from an individual defender on the Cowboys ever. Like in terms of when I actually go back and watch the tape, I thought he was really fantastic.
All right, Pat, cap, no cap. Is he DeMarcus Lawrence level playing right now?
I do love me some Donovan Ezeraku, and I do love me some Bobby Belt, but I gotta call cap. Gotta call cap for a couple reasons. Number one, when you talk about DeMarcus Lawrence versus Donovan Ezeraku, keep in mind, Tank did it against some of the best running backs in the league year in, year out for the Dallas Cowboys. Donovan Ezeraku is just now getting started. So while he did have the best game of his career all told against the Las Vegas Raiders, I want to see it against Saquon Barkley. I want to see it against, Jonathan Taylor of the world. I want to see it against those guys over an extended period of time. Is the potential there? Absolutely it is. And I believe that Ezeraku will get there. But to say that he's right now equivalent to prime DeMarcus Lawrence in stopping the run, pump your brakes just a smidge there, my friend.
Man, that's why I hate stats and analytics and numbers and things of that nature. I'm going to call cap an impossible. And I'll say this, right?
Okay.
Because the result may be the same. They both may have similar grades in run defense, but context matters, right? Think about how Tank had to do it. Tank had to do it versus a top-tier offensive tackle. He was the main guy on the D-line, and sometimes he'll get chipped, he'll get doubled, and he'll still, amongst all that, be a really good run defender. Donovan Ezeraku get to live in this world, and if you watched the film last week, if they're double-teaming the 1-tech and the 3-tech, then most likely Donovan Ezeraku is getting a one-on-one versus tight end. So when he was really great in some of those rundown situations, he was whooping a tight end. To be fair to Donovan Ezeraku, I know some people that get whooped by tight ends. I ain't gonna say that, but Donovan Ezeraku has not. So the result has been the same, but the path has been a little bit easier. I can only imagine how Tank Lawrence would be as a run defender if Quentin Williams wasn't able.
Yeah, no, this coaching staff absolutely loves Donovan Ezeraku, what he's been able to put together on film the first 12 weeks of the season, 11 weeks of the season, 25 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 2 sacks for this guy.
Easy does it.
Easy does it.
Quentin, Micah, and Tank would have been stupid.
That would have been dumb. But
To it.
unfortunately, we don't have that. It's all right. We're going to wrap up the show here on Cowboys Rewind. Up next, stick with us.
Thank you, guys.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today. And to watch more Dallas Cowboys content on your connected TV, download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV. Cowboys Rewind was brought to you by AT&T. Connecting changes everything. And by SWBC Mortgage. Customized solutions to help you meet your personal and business goals. Visit SWBC.com.
We're wrapping things up here on Cowboys Rewind. Cowboys, Eagles, Sunday. Going to be a good one. Because everything changes, though, when the Cowboys do play the Philadelphia Eagles. Records don't matter. Momentum after that win. And the Raiders, that doesn't matter either. And this team understands that they're not in a position to really take it week in, week out. They've got to think of this collective as a whole. And Philly right now is the first team in their way to possibly build a case to make the playoffs. Arlington, a win on Sunday will tell a lot about this team. Can the Cowboys get it done? We'll see come Sunday.